Talk to me a bit more about, you've mentioned offset accounts a couple of times. So just explain that a bit more about what an offset account could be.
Sure. So the word offset, I guess if I was, I like to use visuals. If you've got a seesaw and you've got, say, $300,000 of a home loan weighing you down on one side, what an offset account does is if you've got $50,000 in savings that you've built up, it then balances out that scale a little bit more. And in round numbers, a $300,000 loan with $50,000 in credit, the bank's only going to charge you interest on the difference, which is $250,000. The reason why I like offset accounts is because as much as you're saving the interest, you're also retaining that liquidity. So if anything ever comes up or you have been saving for a holiday, you can then still access that money to spend on it without having funds. If you've got, let's just say 6.2% on your mortgage and you're offsetting for every dollar, you're effectively getting that return on your money. Whereas as soon as you go out, you'd have to get a 10% return on that money by the time you pay tax on it to net the same effect, but you're actually subject to market volatility. There's no guarantee you're going to get the 10%. So depending on your circumstances, sometimes it can make more sense in these types of high interest rate environments to be putting as much in your offset account.
And so that's one tip. A few other tips.
Yeah, a couple of fun ones that I've used over the years. Sometimes by just changing the way you spend the same amount of money can actually change its impact on your happiness, health, and wealth. An example might be you've had a long day at work and you just want to go home and get some Chinese on the way, a bit of takeout, sit on the couch, watch TV. Perfectly okay. However, maybe a better solution would be, well, if it's going to cost us the same amount anyway, do we actually go inside the restaurant instead? And maybe we invite some friends as well and we have a bit more of a social outing. Same amount of money, but slightly happier. A smile on your face is always going to make you a bit healthier. So it's just changing some of those behaviors. I've got one memory as a child where we had this block of chocolate, and I'm pretty sure most people would be able to down a whole block of chocolate in one sitting if you wanted to. But what we ended up doing is we all had to throw these dice, and you had to get 2 sixes to be able to you had to put on this costume, 3 pieces of clothing, so a funny hat, skirt, and then you're allowed to use a knife and a fork, and you could cut a piece of chocolate and have one at a time. And meanwhile, everyone else is trying to throw double sixes so they could then wear the fancy hat. A lot of fun. It was about half an hour of laughs and silliness. Best $4 we ever spent on a block of chocolate. So it just goes to show there's ways you can spend the same amount of money just in a different environment or a different way. So that's always a fun tip for me. I always think, how can you look at your budget in a different way?
And a couple of other tips, I suppose, is to look at some of your annual types of expenses, such as insurance, and maybe shop around different providers. Going direct to insurance companies is worth the phone call.
Yeah, well, even just payment, frequency of payment is important. So some insurers will actually offer you a discount if you pay your entire bill upfront for the year. Sometimes it can be a few percent off instead of just paying that monthly. So you think if you're going to have that expense anyway over a 12-month period, why wouldn't you try and get it as a discount if you could? So that can be important. Certainly reviewing things like your home loan rates with a broker or through the bank directly. Personally, I've saved a few $1,000s with just a 20-minute phone call, which is a great hourly rate that I can't reproduce constantly, but a good little tip. My wife and I called up Optus a few years ago. We were paying $50 a month each for our phone plan. Just through doing that process, it was probably about an hour on the phone, but now we've got 2 phones for $50 a month, which is great, and that's for 2 years. So
I think those sort of providers are worth sort of rule of thumb is have a conversation once a year to see if you're on the best plan, because often plans change and they just go fresh to the marketplace rather than to existing customers sometimes. So
and sometimes the existing customers are offsetting the deals on the new clients. I'd also say you miss out on 100% of the stuff you don't ask for. So sometimes just by saying, it's not about playing hardball, it's really just going, as a family, we want to be intentional about our money. Is there a way we can have this same thing charged at a discounted rate? Just ask the question.